You know you do it. Admit it. You do all these mistakes. But that's okay. Because I'm proclaiming myself to be the queen. No. If I'm proclaiming myself to be something, I'm going to be the goddess of miniature painting. Self-sabotage. Self-sabotage. Hey painting pals, welcome back to Mandy's Minis as I destroy my light. Yeah, perfect intro for messing it up for this video. Self-sabotage. But yeah, we all do it. We're all our own worst enemies when it comes to miniature painting, both on the critiquing side and on the self-sabotage side. But that's okay. We can keep trying and keep at it and get over it. But these are the things to watch out for. Number one, you've heard me say it. You've heard everyone say it. All the greats. Contrast. Contrast, 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 contrast. Insert footage from the other video here with me saying contrast a million times.
Contrast, contrast. You have no contrast. There's no contrast. There's no contrast.
Contrast.
But it's the truth. Miniatures are hard to read from a distance if they don't have extreme contrast. And we all do it. Either you don't start with extremes enough in your color palette, or one of my personal big failures that I do, I'll start with the right colors, but I make my layers too small and so far on top of each other that I end up covering my deepest shadows anyway, and then I glaze down my highlights that haven't quite gone as high as I wanted, or maybe they did, but now that I've glazed them down, they're not high enough anymore. So I basically undo all that work I just did.
Midtone, self-sabotage.
So there's 100 ways you can self-sabotage with contrast. So we always have to be on the lookout for it. Number two, water. Water is your lifeline, and you're not using enough of it. Neither am I. We're not thinning down our paints. We're not putting enough water in our brushes. We're not using water enough. A lot of times, you know, you're at the end of that little thing and you know your brush is dry and you need to re-wet it, but you're just gonna finish this one. It's just this much more, and then I can just rinse it and go on to the next color. But you're making it harder for yourself. Or maybe you're in a hurry. You don't have time for two thin coats, but then you muck up all the details and cover them all up. So then you might have to strip it and start all over again to take off all that extra paint that you just put down. And I keep hitting this.
Dehydration, self-sabotage. Self-sabotage.
So we need more water. We're just dehydrated painters. Number three, not caring for your brushes. Oh my gosh, this one's huge. No one does it. You hear from all the big time painters, they all say, oh yeah, I don't do it as much as I should. I don't rinse out, get clean water at the beginning of every session, or use brush soap after each session. So many of us don't have brushes that have that nice sharp tip because we didn't care for them properly to begin with, or we're using cheap ones and, you know, trying to make those make do. Which, if money's an issue, that is perfectly good. That is not self-sabotage. That is watching yourself and being financially
Intelligent. Responsible.
That's the word. That is being fiscally responsible. So, not sabotage if it's money based. But if it's not, and you're just not taking care of them,
Expensive. Self-sabotage.
then there are all of the millions of little ways. What about your posture? I have to show off here and say a big thank you to our friends Dan and Tracy for getting me this new chair. Yeah, okay, they got it free from a work and they donated it to me because you guys have seen my chair in some of the old videos. It's beat up. But this one really forces me to sit in correct posture, which is for my migraines, because it's not only back pain that you could be doing to yourself, but if you're, since it's all connected, the back and shoulders will cause migraines. And now I have to see a neurologist, and it's not from miniature painting. It started beforehand, but posture with miniature painting is the difference between having a migraine this week or not.
Anatomy. Self-sabotage. Self-sabotage.
And then there's the big one. You compare yourself to others, don't you? You know you shouldn't. We all say it. And we all do it because it's human nature. But you can't compare yourself to others because it's just not the same. You're not in the same place. Maybe you have less time to give. You haven't learned necessarily all the same things they have. It's not the same. You cannot compare yourself to others. It just makes you feel bad. Maybe it detracts you. It's mentally sabotaging.
Psychology. Self-sabotage. Self-sabotage.
So you do not want to compare yourself to others or be negative on yourself. We're always the hardest. We're our own worst critics. You see every flaw. That doesn't mean everyone else does. All right? I can show you models that were on videos that did really well. You guys loved the thumb, so lots of people clicked on it. And the back of it isn't even painted. Like, I only did half. It's not finished. You don't know what you're looking at. I do not Photoshop my photos. But others might. You might be looking at something that somebody fixed up in Photoshop. You don't know. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. But you can't be that hard on yourself.
Social media deception. Self-sabotage.
So take what you're thinking and evaluating with a grain of salt. We all have flaws in our paint jobs unless you're winning golden demons. And if you're winning golden demons, you're not getting advice from me. Sorry, I can't help you. Because I can't win a golden demon.
Self-downing. Self-sabotage. Self-sabotage.
Okay, saying that I can't win a contest as prestigious and elite as the golden demon is not really being down on myself. So, that's okay. I can say that because it doesn't make me feel any worse about my painting or where I'm at with my painting. It's good to have goals. Okay, my goal is not to get to a golden demon because I don't have the temperament to spend the amount of time on one single figure that the winners do. Yeah.
Mandy, not thinking as much of herself as I do. Self-sabotage.
Okay, that's not true. You know I don't have the temperament to do it. I get frustrated after, 10 hours on a figure, more or less 100. So that's not gonna happen. But that's okay. That doesn't have to be my goal. I have other goals. I have other dreams and aspirations that I'm still working towards. You don't have to have that ultimate high standard and hold yourself to it. Maybe you just want something tabletop ready. Cool. You've got a goal. Once you reach that, you're golden. And if you're not there yet, you can get there. That's all good. So, don't let the mental games that we play with ourselves mess with you and interfere with your having fun in this hobby. Then there's the other little things. Lights. Make sure you have nice lighting. You can see the mini. Much easier to paint that way.
125,000 miles per second. Self-sabotage. Self-sabotage.
What does miles per second have to do with
It's
light?
the speed of light.
Oh, good to know. We all know that we do these things. We all know that we have to try and fight it and overcome it. But you can do it. And if you're doing these things, that's okay too. It's fine. Be aware, try and fix it. Then you can become a little bit better once you do. But it's always an uphill battle, especially with the mental games. So, what you need to do is remember the most important thing. Watch my videos. No, not that. But before I get to the most important thing, I do want to stop and say thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate all of you just watching the videos. Really, really appreciate you if you go the distance and subscribe, like, comment. I love reading and responding to comments. I respond to everyone, even my new hater. So that's always fun. And a big, big, big thank you to our patrons. We can't tell you how much we appreciate the support and how that helps us out with running the channel and allowing us to give back to the community. We've been able to make it 2 months now, 2 whole months with a video every week. And that's because of the support of the patrons has been able to allow us to hire Taylor, our wonderful editor, and our wonderful backup editor. So we have that going on right now. But we couldn't do that without you, because we do this for the fun of it. And we do this for the community and to give back, because it was the community that helped me learn everything that I've learned and get to where I am. And this was the best way I could think of to say thank you, was to do the same for others.
Big thank you. No sabotage.
So, now onto that number one thing. Have fun and keep creating.
This really hurts my knees. Self-sabotage.